Good morning out there, traders. It is May 17th, 2024, and welcome to the Apteros DMI. Let's dive into our recap here a little bit. So we were talking yesterday about this neutral zone being important to the upside or the downside whenever we get full acceptance inside of that market. And we really never got the best of acceptance pictures yesterday. We were pretty much grinding around this reference, which wasn't all that great in terms of opportunity. But, in the very, very short term, whenever we were coming into the open, we had a move below that and some holds below that neutral zone, giving us a little bit of a bearish scalping type of opportunity here. And it came down with the lows there, and that was it, right? The bulls just kind of recovered that zone, pushed back up through our neutral area here, giving us a little bit more of a bullish skew on that neutral zone, but once again, never really clearing out the highs and expanding. So two early opportunities are really nothing more than scalps. And then we end up seeing this thing go sideways or choppy in that neutral zone until we get the actual acceptance picture below our neutral zone with an opportunity coming into the close to get short. And this really was kind of the most clear and best opportunity in the session, but it was coming into that last hour or so of trade. So not always the best of scenarios whenever it comes to how the day plays out. But if you are someone that plays the end of the day, we had a much more clear picture there coming into that, 1600 hour there. And, it's a nice price movement coming out of that area as well. Now, the short side of things wasn't the best in terms of opportunity because it was a little bit touchy with the confluence picture. So, obviously one of those days we were talking about yesterday is not the best overall, and that's kind of what ended up playing out yesterday. Now with today, we are looking at a pretty neutral landscape across the board. So these neutral references, it's kind of open space out here. We're at all-time highs. We've pulled back from there, so we could be in a very grindy type of environment at this point. And the clarity in the context is just not all that great out here in these zones. What we can say is this neutral zone here, a little bit more critical to the overall picture in the sense that if we get back inside of this area, possible scalping opportunity up into 53.41s as a main target there for the bullish side of things. If we don't get back up into there, things remain pretty dissonant because our short term is bearish, but in this whole area here, we have pretty much the next time frame up is bullish. So we're in kind of a dissonant zone here where things are just back and forth and not all that clear. So that's why everything out here is pretty much neutral. Even though we have a location that is meaningful in a lot of ways, it's also unclear in the sense that in the current acceptance picture, we don't have a bias that could be associated with this area. So with that being said, most of the DMI stuff today is in a neutral location in terms of price. If we get back up above this neutral area, the bullish side of things look a little bit better in terms of the confluence on the shorter time frames. If we hold below this neutral area, things start to get dissonant between the lower time frames and the upper time frames, and the ideas start to clash with one another. So it's just one of those situations where we don't have the best of clarity today. So nothing for us really to do in terms of setting out proper true scenarios for the trading. This is just the analysis. This is the way it shook out today. But the neutral zone here is a little bit more of a critical zone overall for today's trading, and the acceptance picture on either side of it can help with the clarity in the narrative read. In other words, the bullish side of things has a little bit more clarity if we hold up into that zone. If we don't hold up into that zone, it becomes a little bit more dissonant in that our shorter time frames are a little bit more bullish. Some of our shorter time frames are bearish, and then our upper time frames are a little bit bearish, but then the time frames in between are still a little bit more bullish. So definitely just a tricky situation there. So trade well, mind your risk, and if you trade at all today.